I really and I wholeheartedly believe this, that Mike Tomlin is the best coach in National Football League.
I agree with you.
If they put Justin Fields at kick returner, I would knock Mike Tomlin down a couple notches. That would be the most ludicrous thing I've ever been presented with in my football life.
But I just have to address though, Shaun. Listen, Shaun might know more about football than I'll forget about. Okay, I'm a gambler, right? But I have to ask. I mean, Mike Tomlin. I mean, is there anybody that's wore out his welcome long? I mean, when the fuck has he won last? Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl 15 years ago.
Hold on.
If he's any other coach, he's fired.
Hold on a second now. Hold on. Mike Tomlin gets more out of less than any coach in the National Football League.
But
have you seen these bums they've been putting at quarterback?
But you're the head coach. Go out and get a better one. Go help your organization get a better coach or a better quarterback.
He's a defensive guy. You got to help defensive guys evaluate quarterback.
But hold on. Let me just say, though, if he's any other coach, I mean, who's had a longer leash than him? I mean, he's been there for a long time.
Harbaugh.
What other coach do you know that's never been less than 500? So I'm trying to figure out when are the bad years you're talking about. The guy every year figures out how.
But going to the playoffs isn't that great a feat, though.
Shit. And Chicago.
Okay, if getting to the playoffs is what you want as an organization, then I guess you're right.
Let me ask you.
Of mediocrity.
Here's my take, though. I had this argument with Smitty. Why don't Harbaugh take the same heat? When's the last time he won a Super Bowl? Same fucking year, a year later than Tomlin. And guess what? You got Lamar. If you gave Lamar to Pittsburgh, I would love to see what Tomlin did with him and that team and that dominant defensive mindset to run the football with Najee, play pass it with Lamar. Now with Patrick Queen on that side, oh fuck! See, that's what I think. I think Harbaugh gets a pass a lot of times and he's overstayed his welcome. If we're gonna be real, he ain't been back since when? He played his brother. So I don't know, man.
Coach, he's been a coach since 2007, Mike Tomlin. He has 8 playoff wins. 8.
What about Harbaugh? Look at him.
But Harbaugh's been in college for a while.
No. I'm talking about
the Ravens.
For the Ravens.
John, I was going to say. Okay,
look at John Harbaugh's stats. Look at John Harbaugh's stats. Same. I think he's even less playoff wins or right around the same. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, just look at Lamar's. Shaun got a call. Hold on. Look at Lamar's playoff record. Tells you right there. You almost have the same record as fucking Baker Mayfield.
But listen, if the qualification is you're just looking to get to the playoffs, and yes, Tomlin is a fine coach. He will get you to the playoffs and likely lose. But isn't some of the blame got to eventually go to him as to say why we don't have a quarterback, why a quarterback hasn't worked here? We've drafted Kenny Pickett. We've drafted Mason Rudolph. We've drafted all these guys, and none of them have done fuck all.
Yeah,
and then we're in this sad.
I just think that it's probably even stronger where you are because it's in the same state, the noise. But I look at it like we could ask the same thing about a lot of these guys. Like Lamar Jackson, you arguably have the MVP, 2-time MVP, and yet he has 2 playoff wins in 7 years.
Let's just focus with Tomlin on the last 6 years. He has failed to get to the playoffs in 3 of those years. And in the playoffs that he's gotten to, he's lost in the wild card game. And I think on average, they were by 21 points a game. So for the last 6 years, he has not been a relatively good coach in the NFL. That's just a fact. What he's done before that, look, historically, good. He's won a Super Bowl. That was a long time ago, though. And that's just the truth. And any other coach would have been fired by now.
But look at the thing. The fact of the matter is.
He's Doc Rivers.
Yep. Nah, but look at Belichick. Without Tom Brady, what'd he do? Look at without Roethlisberger. What has he done?
Is he any different than Doc Rivers, though?
Absolutely.
Is he? He won a title, and he hasn't done shit. Shaun, over the last 6 years, okay, he hasn't gotten to the playoffs in 3 of those years. And in the 3 years that he got there, he lost every wildcard game on average by 21 or more points. That's just the truth.
Let me ask you a question. How many of these games was Tomlin favored, where Pittsburgh had the better team?
Probably none.
They all right. Like he's been
so if just getting to the playoffs is your goal, then he's won.
They've been overachieving because of Mike. The deck's been stacked against them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Their offenses have been shit.
Right.
So isn't that the coach's issue?
No, organizational thing. They stood by Big Ben too long, and they mismanaged the transition from Big Ben to the next person.
Jeff, it's the same argument you have on this show when you come on and talk about Sirianni's the next guy fired if he don't win. Isn't he an offensive guy who's hired a horrible offensive crew? Now they got a new coordinator. It's the same thing. You just said yesterday you could see him being outed in Philly if they don't win. Yeah. It's the same thing.
The expectations here are, I think, differently in there for whatever reason. I guess for them, just get into the playoffs and having modicum success is the goal. But they're never a team we go out and say, wow, they're a Super Bowl favorite. That was 15 years ago where we last regarded them as an actual power in the NFL. And I just think they've kept him there too long. That's all. And I think he is someone that we negate the blame ever. I don't know why, but he's never blamed for anything. When the same coaches that do similar things to him, they get blamed.
Because the people that know the quality of Coach Mike Tomlin is.
Yeah. The inner workings, Jeff.
And I would agree. I think John Harbaugh's word out his welcome as well. I don't disagree with you there. I think some of these long-time guys that have been there that haven't won anything in a long – but again, I'll still try to argue how he's not – these guys aren't like Doc Rivers. They're the same type of coach. They win once with like really good teams, and then they don't do shit the rest of their career, and they continue to get jobs everywhere.
But I feel like Doc Rivers has been on some damn good teams that have underachieved. I'm still looking for the Pittsburgh team that underachieved.
So is he?
All these teams under Tomlin are overachieving.
Is Tomlin a guy you just never fire then? Because if you don't
hell no. When you get a coach like Mike Tomlin, hell no, you don't fire him. The one thing the common football fan doesn't understand. Sometimes, hell, the passionate football fan doesn't understand. It's hard as hell to win a Super Bowl. That cannot be your baseline for why you fire or hire a coach.
Agreed.
Because, I mean, unless you just get lightning in a bottle and you catch the little light-skinned kid from Texas Tech who's in Lubbock throwing the ball around and he turns into, Jesus in person, I mean, it's hard to win.
Yeah, but it's weird how that always happens with the really good coaches, though. If you ever notice that,
they
always seem to get those players.
By your criteria, then Shanahan should be fired in San Francisco because they ain't won shit.
He probably should.
I advocate for that every day. I think he's the most overrated. See, I think if you put Tomlin in Frisco, they got 2 bowls already.
Andy Reid is the best coach in the NFL, and it's not close.
But again, we can argue. We go back and forth. I think he is too. I think he's the best offensive-minded coach, no question. Here's the issue I have, though. Like, we argue all these times, but he couldn't. To Shaun's point, and I'm being devil's advocate. He couldn't get over the hump in Philly without the quarterback.
I was gonna say, how many Super Bowls does Andy Reid have as a head coach without Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback?
Yeah, none.
You don't have any. But how many Super Bowls does Mike Tomlin have without Ben Roethlisberger? None.
Saying,
he doesn't even have any playoff wins.
But that's the point.
Andy Reid wasn't a bad coach in Philly.
No,
he was a good coach in Philly too.
Every quarterback thrived under him. Every quarterback thrived.
Yes.
He got Michael Vick a $100 million contract after the Pitbull incident. So Andy Reid is no doubt about it. But look at what Belichick won without Brady. I'm just saying we could always. It takes both, and I don't know. Like, here's my thing. This is my last take before we move on to this. Jeff, the problem is back to the whole female thing. If we get rid of Mike Tomlin in a men's league, if we get rid of Mike Tomlin who's a men's coach, who the men look to and revere and respect, look at what is riddled on our sidelines. We got the Mike McDaniels vaping and fucking capri shorts. Like, the NFL is becoming this type of coach. We can't get rid of Tomlin just for the simple fact that we don't have any more Belichick's, Parcells, Tomlin's roaming the sideline. No Bill Cowers. We don't have them no more. It's becoming this new analytical fucking league where the kids don't really respect the coach.